All right. Good evening and welcome to this session on the topic of success or failure. It's going to be a discussion and then, of course, you can put out, if you're watching us on Zoom, you can put in your questions later on in the chat. We're also streaming live on Facebook, so this talk will be there for everyone to see later on as well. You can just visit the Facebook page and check it out. I'm very grateful to Vaibhav and very happy to welcome him here this evening for this talk. Vaibhav,
thank you.
Thank you for taking out the time. Vaibhav is very experienced pranic healing instructor, pranic healer, and really a beautiful soul, and very, very dedicated to sharing knowledge and happy to teach every time and very patient at that too. So thank you once again. Thank you all also for joining us today. It's really a multiple high energy day actually. There's the summer solstice, there's been a solar eclipse. It's Happy Father's Day, I believe. It's the World Music Day, and then it's the International Yoga Day, and so many things to celebrate. So, but anyway, let's immediately welcome Vaibhav, and over to you now, Vaibhav.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to all of you for this session. Yes, it's a very interesting session and a practical session, which actually is the need of the hour. So let's not waste our time. So we'll quickly go into this. So I'll share my screen as I start. Okay, so let's start. So dealing with success and failure. Dealing with success is not a topic that is required actually, because everybody wants to be successful. Everybody is happy to be successful, but still I'm going to share a few tips. I would call it as a secret of success, certain ingredients of success, and then of course how to deal with failure, and how to overcome the effects of failure. And we'll also try to go into the root of failure, which is very, very important topic for today. And once you deal with the root, it's easier to deal with the problem. Okay, so we'll go into that also. So let's start. So what is success? People have different definitions for success. I would put it as anything that you accomplish. Okay, any of your goal which you accomplish, you can call it as success. I classify broadly the way you classify success into about 4 different categories. Okay, so we have health, we have family, we have health, we have relationships, we have then we have finances, and then we have spiritual success. So different people have different targets. Okay, so there is nothing, there is no one specific area which actually people use it to gauge your success. Let's say for someone, if they earn a certain amount of money, they call it as success. Or if they get into a particular job, that is success. So all this comes under financial. Okay. Now for some people, to get married to their girlfriend itself is a success, or to work a difficult relationship and to harmonize that relationship is a success, or to manage a group of team, leading the team towards a particular goal, for them that is a success. So it all deals with relationships. Okay. Now for some people, for them, they have health goals. So they want to lose these many, let's say 2 kilos or 3 kilos per month, or in the next 3 months, they would like to lose 10 kgs. Okay. Or let's say they have a certain health issue and they have a target that in 6 months, I will get healed of this particular ailment. That is a success for some people. Okay. Now for some people, for them, they gauge their success with their spiritual goals. For example, I will meditate for the next 30 days without any break. Okay. Or some people will have targets on overcoming certain of their weaknesses. Let's say, okay, waking up 5 o'clock. Yeah. So waking up 5 o'clock and doing my meditations regularly makes me successful. Or working on their anger management. They want to discipline themselves, or they have a certain habit and they want to overcome that habit. Okay, that is a success. So all this kind of self-development comes under spiritual success. So I broadly classified the categories into 4 different types. Okay, so in any of this, if you're able to achieve your goals, or if you're able to achieve your what do you say, the targets or the goals that you have set in your mind, you call yourself as a successful person, right? So let's get into details now. Okay, so let's talk about a success formula. Okay, so if you have to be successful in any field, you need these 4 things always. Okay, number 1 is skill. Okay, so you need to develop your skill in that particular area. For example, let's say you want to lose weight. Now, how to lose weight? Of course, you have to join a gym, or you have to join a yoga. Things will actually give you essential skills to actually achieve that goal. Okay, now the skill is not sufficient. You had to be persistent. Okay, for the next 3 months, you had to do a certain set of exercises, or you had to follow a certain type of diet. So these things, the skills will only work when you are persistent. Okay, number 1, you acquire skills, and then you start persistently practicing it or working towards it. This is extremely important. Any person who is successful follows a simple formula of persistence. Initially, they may not see any progress. Let's say after 10 days, 15 days, you may not lose any weight. Okay, so now you should not give up. You should not give up, because maybe the following week you lose the weight. Okay, so something like that. So people who are not so successful, they don't stick on to anything. Okay, I've seen some of my friends, they say, I was in that field, I was in this field, I was in that, I was in this. So every 2-3 years, they change their job, or they change their very areas of interest. So I don't see them successful in anything. At the same time, I've also seen people who are in the same field from the past 20 years, 30 years. These people are really successful because they didn't give up. Persistence. Okay, next is energy. Okay, this is a very interesting topic and a bigger topic, which I will be covering it towards the later part of this presentation. The quality and the quantity of energy you all contain decides your ability to be successful also. Okay, so there is a secret for this. So I'm going to talk about that slightly later. Okay, and then entitlement. This is another huge thing that you need to think about. See, you may have energy, you may be persistent, you may be skillful, but there are few people who are not successful. Okay, so what is this entitlement? How to create entitlement is another aspect which we are going to discuss later. Okay, so this is the success formula. Okay, a simple, successful, it looks simple, but when you start doing it, you will start achieving your goals. Okay, so we'll talk more about this at the later, especially the energy part of it and the entitlement part of it. We will talk about it later. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Why is success so important? Why do people chase success? Okay, so people at different parts of their life, they chase different things. When you were a kid, usually you will compete with your classmates in your sports. Okay, that is success for you. As you grow, the academics becomes number 1 priority. Okay, so then you chase and get good marks. So that's another success. Then in your college days, you'll have different targets. Maybe you'll start targeting the most beautiful girl or the most successful guy. You don't know. So you have a different target. And then you chase your career. You want to get selected in the interview and get into your favorite job or what you dreamt of. Okay, so people have different targets at different points of time. So why do people chase success? Number 1, it gives them happiness, right? Who is not happy when they are able to achieve what they wished for? Okay, it gives you happiness. People always like to be happy. All that circus, whatever people do, all that studies, all that chasing, all that earning money, all that get into a job, what does it give you? At the end of the day, you're happy. We all do this because it gives us happiness, right? So happiness is extremely important factor which everyone craves for. Okay, you may have lots of money, you may have you may be extremely successful in whichever field you are. At the end of the day, if you're not happy, there is no point in having all that. So happiness is one thing very important, and the success gives you that happiness. Number two, a sense of satisfaction. Now this is also very, very important. So successful people have a sense of satisfaction because they feel that they have achieved something in life. Okay, so they feel that, okay, I'm so happy because I've achieved these things. So now I can, really say that, yes, I'm successful, or I can be at peace. Okay, it gives a sense of satisfaction. Now, some people also desire for recognition or appreciation. Okay, now why do you think you got, you tried your best when you're young, when you tried your best and won in a running competition or a cricket? Why? Because it gave you recognition. A lot of people will applaud when they see you being successful. Or maybe when you got good marks, your parents appreciated you, right? Your teachers appreciated you. So you felt very special when people appreciated and recognize you. Now, who doesn't want to be recognized? Who doesn't want to be appreciated? Everybody wants that. Okay, so appreciation is another motivating factor for you, or recognition is another motivating factor for you to become successful. And also, when you are successful, you become more confident, right? So confidence is another motivating factor. People who are successful, they're extremely confident in their own fields. Okay, they become like an authority or an encyclopedia filled with lots of experiences. So with that confidence, they actually become leaders, and they can guide other people who are pursuing the same career or same target. Okay, so they become leaders in their own particular field. So it gives them confidence. So the confidence also is kind of motivating factor for everyone to be successful, right? Now let's go into the other side. Failure. Okay, what is the failure? Inability to achieve the desired objective. Okay, we can apply the same general rule here. Okay, so the objectives can again be broadly classified into health, relationships, finances or career, and then spiritual. Okay, health. Let's say this guy decided that he'll lose 10 kilos in the next 3 months and he could not lose. Or maybe a certain health issue was not resolved. Or relationships. Maybe the person liked someone and it didn't work out. Or maybe they had a good relationship for many years and suddenly the relationship broke. Okay, or there was a divorce. Or in the team, there was a fight. So people did not cooperate. Finances. So maybe the person lost the job, or maybe the businessman, he invested in a wrong place and he lost a lot of money, or someone lost their job because of the COVID situation. Okay, so because of the crisis, people have lost their job. So that is a failure. And spiritually, every time people decide to meditate, they may not be persistent. Maybe they'll meditate for 3-4 days and then it stops. Or maybe they're not able to overcome their anger, or maybe they're not able to overcome their laziness. Okay, so this leads to a kind of dissatisfaction, or they feel that they have failed in that. Now let's see why people cannot accept failure. This is an extremely important point. Before we actually learn how to deal with failure, we should understand why people cannot accept failure. Number one, it gives sadness, right? So anyone who has failed in a certain objective, you'll not see them with a smiling face and saying that, oh, I failed today. Okay, maybe if someone says that, you'll think he's crazy, right? So it's connected to the feeling of sadness. Nobody likes to be sad. Everyone wants to be happy. Now, it also gives a sense of rejection. For example, when you didn't get good marks in your school, maybe your father or the mother, they said, okay, I'll not do that for you, or I'll not take you there. I'll not give you this. I'll not give you that. Okay, so there is a sense of rejection, maybe from the parents or from peers or from friends or teachers. So a sense of rejection. Nobody wants to be rejected. Now you should always realize that human beings are social beings. They love to have people around them. People may say, I am an introvert, I will not mingle with people, blah, blah, blah. But every one of us are social beings. And we always want some people, it could be a friend, it could be a parent, it could be a relative, to always be with us. You know, when you feel rejected, when you feel that the other person did not like you, definitely it will hurt you. Next is comparison. Sometimes people compare. You know, when you fail, it starts from childhood again. So the parent will say, okay, look at that person, he is getting good marks, why can't you get that? Okay, sometimes the partner will compare you. See, that person is so good looking and you have become like this, you have put on too much of weight, you no longer are attractive. Okay, so there is a sense of comparison. So people don't like to be compared, right? So all of us are in unique creations of God. We are all good in our own ways, we are all bad also in our own ways. Okay, so when someone is compared to someone, they feel very, very upset. Okay, that is one bad thing people actually do. If you are doing that, please stop doing it. Okay, punishment. Now sometimes people are scared of failure because they are punished. Okay, so for example, yeah, let's go to the same thing. Let's say the homework or the assignment was not done, or maybe it was not done properly, or maybe the person did not get the desired marks. So sometimes it is rewarded by a punishment. Okay, so when the person is punished, that too severely, then the person is scared of failure. Okay, they always have that fear that I'm going to be punished. It can be any kind of punishment. Okay, sometimes it can be beating, or it can be not talking for some days, or maybe the person will not get what he wanted, something like that. So people have different types of punishments. So every time a person fails or loses something, he is exposed to punishment. Okay, so when this happens on a regular basis, the person develops a phobia towards failure. Okay, so they cannot take failure, so they're constantly anxious and worried about being perfect in everything. Okay, because they're scared of the punishment that they're going to receive from someone. Okay, then poor self-esteem. So due to constant failure, due to constant criticisms, comparison, punishments, a person can develop a poor self-image. So all this comes to there. So it led to poor self-image. Maybe the person is good looking, but because so many people compared him to someone else, the person doesn't want to come on the photos. Okay, I've seen many ladies do that. So when we say, okay, let's take a picture, they say, oh no, we may not be looking good. Okay, so let's say, okay, why don't you come on the stage, talk something? So they will think about something that happened in the past, and they may say, no, in the stage I may not talk properly, but they may be an excellent presenter on a one-to-one session, or maybe they can write very well, but if they have to present it on the stage, they cannot do it. Okay, so something like that. So this leads to poor self-esteem, and unfortunately most of these things are connected to the childhood. Okay, so all of this goes there, because when we were children, the mind is very, very sensitive. The way we were treated when we were successful, or when we fail in something, has a lasting impact throughout our life. Okay, sometimes people come to us and we see that there is a lot of inhibition. So we say that, did you have a very strict childhood? So they say yes. Why? Because of that, they're not able to do really anything. They may be good in that, but they will still not be able to do that because of certain traumas people carry from childhood. Okay, so in this childhood, it can be compared into two extreme attitude. Okay, the extreme attitude is, number one, on the positive side, it is pampering, and on the negative side, it's punishing. Okay, let's talk about punishing first. So whenever the person fails, he will be severely punished with whatever it is, not talking, not buying a gift, or beating, or criticizing, or comparing. When it is done repeatedly, it creates what we call as thought forms. Okay, thought forms are energy beings. When someone tells something repeatedly to you and you start thinking about that. Oh, that person is good, I'm not good. That person is better, I'm not better. So the person creates a kind of mental pattern, thinking pattern. So in pranic healing terms, we call it as thought forms. So these thought forms will not allow the person to think clearly. It's like you wear a sunglasses. You wear a sunglasses and everything looks dark. Everything looks dark because of the sunglass. It's not because the sunlight is low. Okay, something like that. So when there are thought forms in the energy field, it acts like sunglasses. So whatever they see through these thought forms, and they think that this is not for me, that is not for me, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So there are a lot of limitations that we draw on ourselves. Okay, so that is one theory. Now, if you come to the other side, pampering. Now, this is another mistake many people do. Okay, so they don't want, some of the parents, because they really love their children and they don't want the similar challenges that they faced. Okay, and they don't want that to be faced by their children. So out of extreme love, sometimes we see parents pampering their children too much. So whatever the child desires, it is there. Next day it is there. There is no for the child. Okay, in fact, I belong to this category. Okay, when I was young, I was the first born grandson in my family. So there was a lot of pampering. Wherever I go, I had a VIP treatment. Okay, if I say I want this particular toy, it is there on the next day. If I say I want to see the train, my grandfather was working as an advocate. So he would come home, whatever cases he had in the afternoon, he would postpone it. He would come for me, and at 4 o'clock he would take me to the train station where the train comes, and I would watch the train. Or sometimes I would ask him to pay me some money, coins. I used to keep it on the track, and the train passes on that. I would collect those, press the coins. He would leave all his court job just to attend me. So that was the amount of affection and care I had. So I never experienced kind of rejection in my younger age. As I grew, life started showing me the reality. So sometimes I would be extremely irritated, or I would be extremely frustrated when I don't get something. I could not accept no for an answer. So that was my problem. Why? Because I was excessively pampered when I was young. Now, my grandparents did not do that to spoil me. Their intention was, they wanted to really take good care of me. They did it out of love. They did it out of affection, but it created a problem in me because I was not able to accept failures in my life. So this created serious problem in my younger teenage. Of course, after that I did pranic healing courses. Then I realized that life is not that. Okay, so it actually opened my eyes. And anyway, pranic healing really changed my life. I'll talk about that. So I belong to this category. So there are children who belong to the punishment category, who are severely punished and treated bad, and there are also people who belong to the pampering category. Now these two extremes should be avoided. There should always be a balance. So that actually molds the children. Yeah. So let's go further. Now, how to deal with failure? Unfortunately, in many of our schools and universities, they only teach us how to be successful. Okay, but they don't teach how to accept the other side of the life. Okay, and this is one of the biggest mistake people are doing today. Okay, everyone wants to be successful. There is so much of competition wherever you go, starting from buying a ticket in a train station. Of course, now everything is online, but still, so there is competition. There is competition in school, there is competition outside, there is competition in getting a job, there is competition in getting married. So there is competition everywhere. So due to that, now people cannot accept failure. So this is one of the reasons why today people are having so many psychological problems like depression. What about suicide? Okay, people who commit suicide, they don't know how to handle failures. They know how to be successful. Okay, they are happy about that, but they don't know how to deal with failure. This is a serious, what do you say, loophole in a person's character. or a person's personality. Because if he doesn't know how to deal with failures, he may fail. He may get into serious depression, or in extreme cases, they may also go into depression. And recently we saw what happened during the lockdown. Okay, there are people who actually, if you see even the exams every year, when there's a board exam in the newspaper, we see some students commit suicide. And there are people who commit suicide due to failure in a marriage, or a relationship broke, or there was a huge loss in business. Okay, so these things are getting common. So to deal with these things, so one has to understand how to deal with failure. Okay, number one, let's be practical. Okay, let's think from the practical point of view. Yes, we all are extremely happy when things are running in our own in our own wish, and things are moving in our own direction. But let's get practical. Not everything will be like that. Okay, so there are definitely ups and downs in life. Okay, so when there are ups and downs in life, you have to also think about, okay, what is the extreme outcome? What is the worst thing that can happen? Let's say the person lost a job. So he should sit and think, okay, what is the extreme thing that can happen? Okay, I'm out of job. I may not be able to pay the rent. So what next? Okay, so when you think about that, yes, of course, it gives you it gives you a kind of fear thinking about the extremes, but also you should think about the solution. Okay, if I lose the job, okay, what are the options I have? Option A, option B, option C. Okay, in that option, what should I do? Now, instead of getting emotional, people should start using their mind. Okay, so instead of seeing life from an emotional point of view, you should always try to put your mind and try to work a way out. Okay, is there a possibility that I can get back my job? Can I change the failure into success or partial success? Is there a bargain? Okay, you have to start thinking of the option. If there is a relationship failure, you should think, okay, a relationship has failed. What is the worst thing? Okay, we get separated. Okay, so what is the next option? Can I live without this person? Of course you can live. You lived for the last 20-30 years without this person. Why can't you live in the future? Okay, we all led a life without that success for all these years. Why do you get attached so much? Okay, so let's be practical. You should see, okay, is there a way out? Can you change it? Now, if you can't change it, let's say there is a crisis, there is a recession in the whole country. Can we do anything about that? Right now, nothing we can do about it. We cannot change the economy of the country overnight. It is going to be like this for some more days. So when you know that there are certain things that you can't really change, now you should think, what can I do to improve my condition? Now you cannot improve the market. So what can you do to do something other thing? Okay, I was reading a beautiful article on the internet, on the Facebook the other day. It spoke about a person who started teaching tuition. He ended up with stroke, and he had no hopes about what to do. And slowly his neighbor started asking him if he started reading. Actually, he was in his house alone, and he was reading lots and lots of books. And he was reading, he became so desperate of reading, because that was the only time pass. He started reading the academics books. When children pass from 6th grade to 7th grade, he would ask those children to give the 6th grade books, and he would read all the books. So his neighbor started asking him if he could do some tuition. So he started tuition, and he started teaching because it was his passion. He did not charge money. And then the word of mouth spread, because he was a good teacher. He got lots and lots of students. So now he's teaching from morning to evening tuition, only tuition. And he has almost 1,000 children, and they all pay him fees. See what happened. So he was telling people, he had written an article, that you guys are getting affected just with the 60 days of quarantine, or 30 days of quarantine. For me, I'm quarantined for many years. Okay, so he could not go out and do something. So basically what we have to understand is, if there is some situation, external situation, that you can't really change, you have to start introspecting and start thinking, what can I do? Okay, I can't do that. Can I do something like this? Instead of getting frustrated, you should start thinking, what is the solution? Master Choa Kok Sui, who is the modern founder of pranic healing and Arhatic yoga, he always says that if there is an obstacle, try pushing the obstacle to a side. Now, if you cannot push the obstacle, you have to flow like water. What does the water do if there is a huge rock? It will change the course of travel. It will go around the rock and it will somehow reach the sea. All the rivers, they somehow reach the sea. If there are mountains, they'll cross the mountain. So in the same way, when there is a huge obstacle in life, if you know that, okay, this obstacle cannot be changed, then you have to change the course of your action. Maybe you'll have to change your profession, or maybe you'll have to change the way you're trying to lose your weight, or maybe you'll have to change the way you're trying to get healthier, or maybe you'll have to search for another life partner. Okay, something like that. So you have to always cross around the obstacles when you know that you cannot change the reality. Okay, now always remember this: failure is also a part of life and is an experience. So with certain failures, it actually gives you rich experience. You know what to do and what not to do. You will know, okay, if I do this, this is what will happen. At least you can guide people who are in the same path. You can be a mentor for people like you. Okay, so success gives you happiness. Failure gives you experience. Okay, experience is priceless because certain things to experience itself is difficult. Okay, if you're having that experience, you should be like, okay, I have this experience. When you lift a certain weight, you know how heavy it is. People who don't lift weights, they don't know how heavy it is. So when you pass a relationship challenge, for example, you develop experience in relationship. You become seasoned. You know, in cricket, when they season the bat, what they do? They hit the bat again and again, and then the bat gets seasoned. So some things that happens in your life actually seasons you in a certain thing. And always, Lord, if you know, you should realize that life is cyclical. There is a cycle. Even Lord Buddha said that. Lord Buddha, he has this four noble truths. Okay, he said dukkha is a part of life, and there is a law of cycle. Everything around you changes. Everything around you changes. Everything is guarded by the cycle. For example, you cannot always have a day. Okay, there is always night. You cannot always have autumn. There is always there is summer. There is rainy season. So everything changes. So there is always a life law of cycle. Okay, nothing around you is permanent. Even your own body is not permanent. After some days, it will grow old, it will deteriorate, and it will die. So what is permanent in life? How can you expect someone to be the same person for the next 30, 40 years? We have changed so much. The way I was when I was a child was a completely different person compared to what I am today. And who knows what I'll become in the future. Okay, so everything changes. Everything in life changes. So stop expecting people or situations to be same throughout your life, because it is not going to be same. Now the problem is we always think that change will always be on a kind of positive side. No, it need not be. It can also be towards the negative side. Not every company will always be successful. There are years where the company will also have losses. Big companies had terrible losses. Okay, but again, they will grow. So after the dip, there is always growth. Let's say there was a huge storm, it destroyed everything. Once the storm has destroyed everything, there is new life, new plants grow, new creatures grow. So whatever got destroyed regenerates over a period of time. So after night, there is always day. So sometimes you need to learn to hold on. Okay, when there's a crisis, you need to learn to hold on. You just have to wait. It might take few weeks, it might take few months, it will pass. It will pass. Okay, so the life is always governed by the law of cycle. So everyone cannot be happy all the time. At the same time, people who are sad need not be sad all the time. There are always times that will change. Okay, so life is cyclical. Remember this. Now, one of the best things that I would always suggest to people who have experienced some kind of failure is to practice a meditation. Okay, now there are different meditations that are actually available. Okay, I personally suggest a meditation called as twin hearts meditation. It's a beautiful meditation given by Master Choa Kok Sui from the Pranic Healing School. So in this meditation, you actually become a giver. You actually become a giver. So this is an important thing. See, we all have a kind of poverty mindset or a kind of failure mindset. We always, many people have this mindset, they always seek happiness from something external. Okay, they say, okay, if this person loves me, I'll be happy. If I get this much money from this place, I'll be happy. If I get this, I'll be happy. So always the happiness is vested on something outside, external. Okay, now as long as you do this, you will always be scared, because one point of time, this person can stop loving you. This company can stop paying you. This job may not be permanent. Okay, so this failure, this kind of fear always haunts us at the bottom of the mind. So instead of that mindset, you should go into an abundant mindset. What is abundant mindset? Abundant mindset is when you start becoming a giver. Instead of always becoming a receiver or seeker, you start becoming a giver. This meditation gives you that mindset, because in this meditation, you focus on certain energy centers, and then you bless the whole world. You bless the whole world with love, with peace, with compassion, with mercy, with abundance, with prosperity. So instead of expecting others to give you love, you start giving love. You start giving love. You start giving peace. You start giving forgiveness. So when you start doing that, you become a giver from becoming a receiver. Always remember this. When you give, you're entitled to receive. If you sow a seed of mango, it will come back to you as mango fruit. Not just one fruit, but multiples. Okay, so this is called as law of cause and effect, and different religions have their own explanations about this. The Hindus, they call it as the karma theory. All the religions talks about this. Whatever you do will always come back to you. God cannot be mocked. A person reaps what he sows. Just as a farmer sowing certain seeds, it's the same with good and bad deeds in life. Okay, so it is said by Hinduism, it is said by Christianity, it is said by Islam. All the religions talk about this principle. So when you start doing this twin hearts meditation, you actually become an instrument of God. You pray to God and you bless the whole mankind. You bless the whole planet. So it brings lots of positivity in you. And based on law of attraction, when you start wishing good for others, and when you start feeling happy, you feel positive, you attract similar people around you. You attract similar situations outside. Now what happens is, when people start thinking negative in their aura, they develop a kind of negative vibes. Now based on law of attraction, similar things attract. Okay, for example, you go to a party, all the cricketers, people who like cricket, they sit in one place and they talk about cricket. People who like politics, they sit in one group, they're talking about politics. Now there are another set of people who are talking about TV serials. Have you seen that? Why do these people become friends? It's basically law of attraction. So similar mindsets, they get attracted. Now once you start doing this meditation, a lot of positive energies pass through you, and you start attracting similar people. Suddenly you'll start seeing people who are very, very positive, people who are very loving, people who are compassionate, people who are generous. Okay, so these things will bring lots of positivity in your life, within you and around you. And pranic healing, I would always suggest go for pranic healing. When there is a failure and you're finding it difficult to accept that, you go for pranic healing. What is pranic healing? Pranic healing is an ancient science and art of using prana or energy to heal diseases. Okay, now it's a known fact, scientifically known fact, that we all have energy fields around us. People call it with different names. Some people call it as vibes. Some people call it as etheric body. Some people call it as body of light. Aura is a very common name that many people use. Okay, so different people call it different names. Now, if you see this picture, okay, this is about twin hearts meditation. Forgot to show you this. So twin hearts meditation is where you concentrate on two energy centers, that is heart and crown energy center. and you bless the planet Earth. Okay. I request all of you to mute your phone because it's disturbing the session. Thank you. Okay, so this is Twin Hearts meditation. Now going to pranic healing. So this is what happens. Now you see, your body has the ability to heal itself. Okay, let's say someone's arm is broken. So the doctors put a cast. After 1 month, the arm is healed. Imagine your table is broken. Okay, the leg is broken and you put a cast around the table's leg. Do you think after 1 month the table will heal itself? It's not possible. The living creatures have this innate ability to heal themselves. Okay, now the question is, if someone is able to heal themselves, why do people don't get healed when they have a diabetes, or when they have a high blood pressure, or when they have a migraine, or when they have an asthma? Okay, that's the big question. The reason why people don't get healed, one of the reasons is they don't have energy. They don't have this life force. If you see children, for example, if children have a wound, their body heals faster compared to an elderly person. Why? Elderly person has energy but less compared to a child. So the rate of healing depends on the life force that is inside you. Okay, so because the patient's body has less life force, in pranic healing, the healer transfers this life force to the patient's body. When this life force is transferred, the person starts healing even psychological problems. Sometimes people say this: time is the best healer. Any emotional scar, over a period of time, it heals. Of course, it heals superficially, but deep down inside, the trauma is still there. So these traumas or bad experiences about failures can become obsession or lead to certain character flaws. So when you fix it, you can actually make the person again happy. Okay, so this is just a kind of explanation, a kind of picture that shows contaminations in the aura. Okay, whereas in this picture, if you see this picture, the picture of the aura, it is clear. Okay, now this person, maybe this person is having lots of stress. Maybe he has lots of failures in life. So he has energies of anger, doubt, worry, jealousy, greed, and all that. Why? Because he cannot see other people being successful. So the aura becomes dull. It is filled with muddish colors. Okay, so what do we do in pranic healing? So in pranic healing, there are 2 steps: cleansing and energizing. So in cleansing, the healer tries to remove dirty energy from the affected part, and then the healer charges the person with a healthy prana. Okay, so this actually has a healing effect, on the patient's body. Okay, if it is a physical problem, it can be immediately felt. Even if it is a psychological problem, a partial relief can be experienced in pranic healing session. Okay, and when this session is repeated over a period of time, the patient can see that the person is, the patient can experience almost full relief. They feel that, oh, this problem is gone, or this psychological pattern, or this depression, or this tendency to hurt myself is gone. I'm no longer scared of failures. I can face them. Okay, so these kind of thought forms are possible with regular pranic healing sessions. And I have personally seen a lot of people who came to me with depression, suicidal tendencies. Not only me, it's for all pranic healers. I have many colleagues who are also into pranic healing, and they have healed hundreds and thousands of people with these problems. It's a science, basically. Okay, now let's not believe this. Okay, so we'll do a simple test. Okay, so let's do this. Now, do you have in the group, there are people in Zoom also who have joined the session. If someone has a minor pain or discomfort in the body, they can just volunteer. I'm going to demonstrate the healing process. Now, I don't want pranic healers. They're also pranic healers. They're already pranic healers, and they're also watching this show. So I don't want to use them because it may be biased. So I want someone who is not studied pranic healing to volunteer. So I'll show how healing is done. Anyone from the group may raise their hand. Nina will select them.
Yeah, you can just raise your hand and
She will unmute you once. Okay. Prashant Sawant has raised his hand. Okay. Okay, we can see his video. That's Prashant, right? Prashant, hi.
he's not put his video on. I've asked him
Okay.
to put on his video.
Who is Prashant?
Spotlighting the video now.
Okay, thank you. Prashant, are you there? Hello. Hi. Prashant, do you have any physical pain or discomfort in your body? I can't hear you. Nina, I think his phone is muted. Can you unmute your mic, Prashant?
Yeah, unmuted.
Good, good. So now I can hear you. So what is the problem?
So back pain.
Back pain? Since when? Since when? Since how many days do you have this?
6 months back.
Huh?
6 months back.
6 months back. Okay. So right now, do you have the pain?
Right now, yes.
Yes. So in a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you gauge it? 10 being extremely painful. Okay. So in a scale of 1 to 10, how much is your pain?
5.
5?
Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Prashant, I'm going to do healing, whatever was demonstrated, the cleansing and energizing process. So I'm going to do that. Just mentally say, I willingly accept the healing energies. That's all. Okay. So I'm going to feel Prashant's back. Okay. So the lower back, I'm going to apply sweeping. Okay. It may look very simple and funny. It looks like a magic show, children's magic show, but there is a science behind this. Okay. So we'll just see what happens to Mr. Prashant after this process is done. I'm trying to remove the dirty energy or the blockages from the lower spine of Mr. Prashant. Okay, I request all the audience not to imitate this because this requires training. Okay, so don't just do this if someone has a pain or discomfort. Sometime you may get into problems if you don't know and you do. Half knowledge always dangerous. Okay, so just don't imitate me. Okay, now it's reducing. Okay, Prashant, how do you feel now? Just check your spine. Try to bend or do something. How is your back?
Still is there, sir. Mine.
Is it the same or is it reducing?
Reducing, sir. Lightly reducing.
Okay, okay. So I'll clean some more. Okay, so this process is called as cleansing. So I'm trying to remove the dirty energy from the affected part. Now, people sometimes ask me, how come this work? Because, you're not touching the person, you're sitting somewhere. How does this work? Now, my answer is very simple. We are living in a wireless technology. We don't touch the TV buttons to change the channel. Okay, today, there are smart TVs. You just do your hand like that and the channel changes. Okay, so we are living in a wireless technology. And why do you want someone to massage your back when there is a back pain? Okay, so I'm trying to do something like that. So pranic healing is like this latest technology. Okay. Prashant, how is it now? So I've just cleaned some. I still have to project energy. Do you see some changes in your spine? Do you see some changes in the spine? The intensity of the pain? Prashant, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, can you just check your spine, do something? See how it feels.
Slowly down, sir.
Okay, slowly going down. So now I'm going to project energy into that part. Now in pranic healing, we don't give our energy to the person, because if I give all my energy to Prashant, then I'll have to ask Nina to energize me. So we don't do that. So what we do is we absorb energy from the nature, and that energy is transferred to the affected part so that the healer is very, very safe. So I'm trying to absorb and project energy. So I'm trying to energize Mr. Prashant's lower spine. Prashant, just mentally say, I willingly and thankfully accept the healing. Mentally say that. You don't have to verbally say that, just mentally say it. Okay, this process is called as energizing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Prashant, can you just check now? Just move your spine. Can you just check how it feels? So in a scale of 1 to 10, how much is your pain now? Earlier it was 5 or 6. How much is it now?
1.
1?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So in less than about 10 minutes, not even 10, sorry, 5 minutes, from 5 to it has reduced. Thank you, Prashant. Thanks for volunteering and thanks for your feedback.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Yes, Nina. You can spotlight my video.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so you saw the efficacy of pranic healing. So this is how pranic healing works. I request all the participants to mute themselves. Yeah, thank you very much. So this is a very simple demonstration on how pranic healing helps in relieving the pain. In fact, it's faster than a painkiller, right? You saw that. So something like this, it can be done. So on a regular basis, when healing is done, these negative feelings of failures, frustration, disappointments, and tendencies to commit suicide, it will all reduce. Okay. Now let's go back to the slide. Okay. Oh, all these technical issues. Okay, so let's quickly go to that slide. So what I did just now to Mr. Prashant was this. Okay, so I cleaned the affected part and then I transferred the fresh prana to the affected part and he could see the change. So basically what happens as you start practicing healing, as you start practicing meditation, the quality of your aura changes. You can see this, okay, from the grayish muddy aura to how the aura size will improve. The bigger, the brighter, the cleaner the aura, you start becoming magnetic. Okay, when you start becoming magnetic, your ability to work, your ability to decide things, your health, your relationships, your finances will improve. So it's easier to climb the ladder of society with bigger aura and chakras because you become more positive. Okay, so it's like your phone battery is full. So when your phone battery is full, you can use all the apps in the phone. You can use all the apps. If your phone battery is low, let's say you are traveling and your phone battery is less than 10%, what do? You switch off your data, you reduce your screen brightness, you'll use your phone only to make calls. And unfortunately, today, a lot of people live like that. Okay, by evening, 6 o'clock, their face become dull, the screen brightness reduced, and there's no tolerance or patience. I've seen people fighting like dogs in the street. Why? Because there is no tolerance. So the app of tolerance is not working. And they release all the stress on their family members who are innocent. They didn't do anything. But all the office stress, we are releasing it on our loved ones. So what will happen? It will spoil the relationships. And the health deteriorates. A simple, I have seen people going to doctors every 2 months. They take antibiotics. So why is the immune system not working? Because the app is closed. So when the battery is low, all the apps become non-functional. So once you start tapping this universal life force into your body, you become calm, you become patient, you become healthy, you become successful. That is what happens. So that is why the quality and the quantity of energy in your aura makes you who you are. And successful people have big auras and cleaner auras. Okay, now let's come to the last part, entitlement. This is an extremely important part. Okay, you may have skill, you may be persistent, but if you don't sow the right seeds, it's difficult to become successful. Okay, so whatever you sow always comes back to you. If you want love and happiness, what do? You show love and happiness to others. Treat other people with respect. Treat other people with kindness, with love, with compassion. So when you do that, people also will realize that, okay, this guy is a nice guy. You know, he's nice to me. He's talking nice to me. So what they will do, they will also respond in the same way. When you meet someone, if you say hello and you smile, the person will also smile. If you make a growling face, they will also make a growling face. Or if you try to avoid people, they will also avoid you. As simple as that. It's like a mirror. Okay. So what do you do if you want money? If you want money, you have to be charitable. You have to be charitable. Okay. If you see all these big business tycoons today who are very successful, very prosperous, you take any businessman or any successful, prosperous guy, they have their own charitable foundations. Okay. They do lots and lots of charity to alleviate sufferings of the poor people. Now, I'm not saying when you become, prosperous, you start that. You have to start doing it now. You cannot say that when the crop comes, I will sow the seed. First of all, the crop will not come if you don't sow the seeds. So whatever is possible by you, you start giving. So the giving and receiving is a cycle. If you keep receiving, you'll be forced to give. Try inhaling all the time. You cannot inhale. After some time, you have to exhale also. So if you try to accumulate money all the time, you will pay hefty medical bills. So the money will go away. So giving and receiving is a law of cycle. So you have to give if you have to receive. So if you want health, you have to help people who are suffering. How? Maybe you can help them financially, pay their medical bills, or try to buy them some medicines. Or if you learn pranic healing, you can heal people who are sick. So it will come back to you as health. Now, if you want knowledge, you have to share knowledge. You have to teach. Okay, I have realized this. When I wanted to, if I have to learn something, I start teaching it. Okay, you may be surprised if I don't know how I'll teach, but that is how it works. I understood pranic healing after becoming a trainer, not before that. Before that, my knowledge on pranic healing was very negligible, or I would say, okay, not very proficient. After I started teaching, my knowledge increased, because by the law of karma, when you give it to someone, it will come back to you. Some of my friends who are not good in studies, I would always tell them, look, if you want to improve your knowledge, you start teaching. So they started conducting tuitions for children, 10th grade, high school and all that. And they got very good marks in their graduation. Why? Because they shared knowledge. So whatever you do will always come back to you. Okay, so let's go back to the secret of success. Like I said, you need skill, you need persistence, you need the energy. Now, how to get that energy? Through meditation on twin hearts, through pranic healing techniques. And the last one is entitlement. So always remember this: whatever you want from others, you give it to others. Whatever you don't want from others, don't give it to others. If you don't want pain, don't hurt others. If you don't want to be cheated, don't cheat others. If you don't want to be stolen, you don't steal others. Something like that. So whatever you don't want, you don't do it to others. Okay, so this creates the right entitlement for you. Okay, so with that, we have covered a lot about these things. Okay, so if you have any questions, you may ask for the next 2-3 minutes, and then we can wind up. Or you can post it in the chat also. For people who are watching Facebook, there's no option for you to ask questions, but definitely you can leave a comment there. Myself or Nina, we will reply to you.
We can put in a comment, and we have replied to a couple of comments and the others. Here, if anyone wants to ask a question, then please let us know.
And Nina is regularly conducting online twin heart sessions, right, Nina?
Every Monday to Friday, 8:30.
Please tell them about that. So if they want to join.
We have a Twin Hearts meditation. In fact, not just me. If you go to the World Pranic Healing India Foundation Facebook page, there is a link. We have Twin Hearts meditation, which is open to everyone above the age of 16. And not only at different timings of the day, you can choose the time that is convenient to you. You can also have the meditation in 6 different languages. So if you just go to that page and check the link, you can choose a convenient time, you can choose a convenient language. And it is really a transformational meditation if you do it persistently. It's also very easy to do meditation because it's a guided meditation. So many people say they can't meditate, but here it's easy because it's actually guided. So do try and check that out. And I'll put the link later on also on the Facebook page for those of you who are following that. All right, so if there are any questions, we can take those. If none, then we will say bye-bye. It's a Sunday evening. No questions. All right.
No questions.
Thank you, Vaibhav. Thank you, everyone else, for joining in. And all right, there is someone who sent a message. We'll take that. Even in success, I feel fear to accept that how to deal with it.
How to deal with?
Even in success, I feel fear.
So because there were sometimes people are told not to show their success. Okay, there will be some kind of eye and all that. So it's difficult for some people to accept that they're successful also. Or sometimes there is too much of criticism. People constantly say that you're not good in this, not good in that, not good in this. Sometimes when they see themselves to be good in something, the mind finds it difficult to accept that. Okay, so you need to overcome that. You need to overcome that. And for that, there is definitely techniques available in pranic psychotherapy to break the old calcified thoughts. Okay, once it's removed, the person will start seeing the reality. It's like you remove your sunglasses. You start seeing things as it is. Okay. So I hope all of you enjoyed this session. So if you enjoyed, please leave a comment. And also, if you are interested in learning pranic healing, if you are belonging to different cities, you can always log on to worldpranichealing.com and you can search city-wise. You'll get trainers available in those cities, licensed trainers, and you can actually learn that. Okay. Yes, someone is sharing some.
Yeah, I just shared the one that we do Monday to Friday.
Okay. Yeah, please. Please, Nina, go ahead.
This is the session that we do Monday to Friday. You can take a screenshot. All details are there. But like I said, I'll put in the details also in the comments later for those who want. Okay. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time. The video is here for you to watch. You can share it. You can, if you think it was helpful, it will be helpful. You can share it and have other people watch it. And that's that. So thank you again. Have a great Sunday evening and see you next time. Namaste.
Thank you. Bye-bye.